I would get it, built a shelter around emotions, kept internal my feelings, believed it only made me stronger if the shit didn't kill me. Yeah, I was different, could have been no more than 9 years old when I first had intuition. Told my granny this my second life and she thought I was tripping. Always knew that there was genius lying in my spirit, had to purge the trials with fire to reveal it. So many witnessed, and though they said that I'd be dead or in jail, I've been walking through this valley in the shadow of death, on the search for my fathers and the reason for breath. And the whole time it was in this book on the shelf, it was in this book on the shelf.
Been a long road, yeah, it's been so hard. Yeah, it's been so hard, but we're gonna make it, put our trust in God, and we can't give up. We're still here, still here, we're still here.
The chains couldn't hold us, plantations couldn't fold us. Drunk the dregs of the cup and woke up, this shit is over. America's a living nightmare, don't you dare dream. I'm picking cotton and concrete structures still in the damn field. Survivors of the crack epidemic and prison pipelines, Jim Crow laws through segregation and hate crimes. The cream of the crop will always rise to the top. The wheat was sown with the tears, but you can tell us by the stock. Oppression makes a wise man mad, cause we have not. Fight a different kind of fight for his people that can't stop. The remnant is raised up, it's the God in me. We fishing in every city, it's the gods they see. Concentrating our efforts on purifying the body and raising up out the filth from the mud that we've been wallowing. Came a long way, ain't no stopping this. Bread for affliction, pray the Lord that we endure the apocalypse.
Been a long road, yeah, it's been so hard. Yeah, it's been so hard.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless, Most High in Christ bless. Yes, sir. We are back for another episode of Giving a Sense. I'm your host, Captain Matthew. Today we'll be discussing Revelation chapter 9. I'll see how far I can get, but all praises to the Most High. So we're out to give the sense according to the scriptures. So before we get into the lesson, y'all already know how we got it started. Let's open up with Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 8. You already know, because it is the job of the prophets to give the sense. So we appreciate you, brothers and sisters, taking time out of your schedule to tune in. Make sure you got your notes. Understand, have your sword with you so you can go through the scriptures and examine to see if the things are coming out according to the scriptures. So let's go ahead and read that real quick.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 8.
Come on.
So they read in the book in the law of God distinctly and gave the sense.
Come on.
And caused them to understand the reading.
So it is the job of the prophets. Any man calling himself a prophet, a pastor, a teacher, it is his job to give the sense of the scriptures. So let's flip over to Revelation chapter 9. So, Revelation is a deep book, so we're going to go dive through it. And Lord's will, you brothers and sisters can glean something from the lesson today. Let's start out with 9 and 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth.
So John says he saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. This star is talking about an angel. Read, watch.
And to him.
And to who?
And to him.
You see that is not a star like a shooting star. Read it again from the top.
And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
So the bottomless pit is talking about Europe. Let's go to Job chapter 30. Let's go to Job chapter 30. Let's get that for the people. So the bottomless pit is talking about Europe. So make sure you all write that down. This is talking about Europe. Let's start at chapter 1, verse 1. Because we could jump to the point, but I want to make sure that we cover who this is making reference to in the bottomless pit, meaning what? A place without resources. Watch this.
Job chapter 30, verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision.
So this is talking about Esau. Esau was born first, but the scriptures say they that are younger than I. Why is it saying that? Because we are the firstborns of the Most High God. We were given a promise. Therefore, in this passage, it is calling Esau the younger one because he did not receive the blessing of the firstborn. You read that back in Genesis 27. Come on.
Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
So Job was like, hold on, man. I wouldn't even have their forefathers with my dogs. Lord knows what they be doing with them dogs. We're going to leave that alone. But keep it moving. Come on.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished.
Come on.
For want and famine,
So for lack and famine, watch this.
they were solitary,
Uh-huh.
fleeing into the wilderness.
That wilderness talking about the Caucasus Mountains. Watch this.
In former time, desolate and
It
waste.
said in former times. This is making reference to a time in history. This is going into the dark ages where they were ran off into the Caucasus Mountains. Let's drop that real quick. Go to Malachi chapter 1. Because let's see what this is talking about. It said they were desolate and waste. What is this making reference to? Esau living up in the Caucasus Mountains.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And I hated Esau.
No, we got to start at verse 1, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi.
Come on, watch this.
I have loved you, saith the Lord.
Uh-huh.
Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Come on.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
So the scriptures say was not Esau Jacob's brother. Watch this.
saith the Lord.
Uh-huh.
Yet I loved Jacob.
That go back to what we read in Job 30:1 that said, they that are younger than I have me in derision. Meaning what? The Lord chose Jacob over Esau. Come on.
And I hated Esau.
And God what?
And I hated Esau.
Hey, that's what the scriptures say. God said he hated Esau. We're going to find out who this man is. Come on.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Oh, that go back to what we read. This is going back into the dark ages when they lived up in the Caucasus Mountains. Let's run some photos. Stay with me, IT team. Let's get the pictures up there so the people can see. Read verse 3 again.
Verse 3. And I hated Esau,
Uh-huh.
and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Come on.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished.
Come on.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
So they were impoverished, meaning what? They was living up in the Caucasus Mountains, eating juniper roots. You see, if you watch a movie called The Quest for Fire, you see the white man in his habitat, eating lice out the bed and so forth and so on. Because guess what? They was in a bottomless pit, that part of Eastern Europe. Nothing is growing out there. Come on. Is that it on that?
No, sir.
Finish that out.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts,
Uh-huh.
they shall build, but I will throw down.
Uh-huh.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
That's crystal clear. You can't change that. No matter how much you might love the so-called white man, the Lord said he has indignation forever. That's the Lord's business, folks. Now, let's go back to Job 30. Because remember, I don't want to veer off the point. We are talking about the bottomless pit, and we are pinpointing who lived in the bottomless pit. It's crystal clear. It's talking about Esau, the so-called white man. Come on.
Job chapter 30, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste.
Meaning what? Ran up into the Caucasus Mountain during the dark ages when we ruled all throughout Europe. Chased them off into the worst parts in Europe, so you understand. Ran after them as a thief. Read.
Who cut up mallows by the bushes
Uh-huh.
and juniper roots for their meat.
Right, so we know this isn't talking about the time during Genesis. Because when you read back in Genesis about Esau, they was the dukes. They had wealth. So this is not talking about the time during Genesis. Because somebody would jump in and say, well, this is going on in Genesis. No, they were wealthy then. This is not that time. This is talking about during the dark ages. Come on.
They were driven forth from among men.
You see that they was driven forth from among men. Come on.
They cried after them as after a thief.
Meaning what? They was driven far from society, living up in them Caucasus Mountains, as you see in the pictures there, where they dwelt for a long season, about 1,000 years. Come on.
To dwell in the cliffs of the
dwell in
valleys.
what?
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys. In caves of the earth.
Damn.
And in the rocks.
This was biblical prophecy. Let's get that in Obadiah. Let's see if this is true, because we read it there in Job. Let's see if another prophet says the same thing. Don't forget the thought. We're talking about the bottomless pit, and we're identifying the people in it. It's very important to know who was in that area so the prophecy makes sense. Read that.
The book of Obadiah, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom.
So Edom is the subject matter, and we're making reference to him being in the area called the bottomless pit. Let's see if this describes Esau furthermore. Come on.
We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
So this is talking about this ambassador. This is in the future. This is going into World War III. Revelations 9 at the beginning part, this is going to be, we're going to be dealing with World War I. All this stuff ties together because as we go through the scriptures, you'll see how the events from World War I, even prior to World War I, are going to set up the events for World War III. But keep reading.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
So the Bible says he's made them small among the heathen. When you look at that area where they live in, they're the only non-melanated people living in what they call the Middle East, living in that land of that they have stolen of Israel. Understand, they right there in the middle. Come on.
Thou art greatly despised.
Thou art what?
Greatly despised.
It says thou art greatly despised. We read something similar in Obadiah where the Lord says has indignation forever. Not only hated by the Most High, but they hate about all the other nations of the world. They tolerate them because they got the power. Come on.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Come on.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
Put the pictures back up there. Thou that did what?
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
The scriptures say thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. We need the caves up there, fellas. Come on now. Come on.
Whose habitation is high.
Come on.
That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
So they got the pride on saying, who shall bring me down? In order to make that statement, you got to be on top. Come on.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
So the Bible says they exalt themselves as the eagle. What was the symbol of the Greek Empire? The eagle. The Roman Empire, the eagle. Understand, what is the symbol of America? The eagle. Come on.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Meaning what? What they do? They did space travel. When they landed on the moon in 1969, they said the eagle has landed. They got an international space station up there. They got private citizens now doing spacewalks. So we know this ain't talking about the Chinese man. We know Esau ain't the Arab man. For you brothers trying to save. Look at that. That's the good old USA right there. The bird of prey. Who's the prey? The Negro. Keep reading.
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
That's what we read. The same thing in Obadiah says, they shall build, but I will throw down. We read the same thing back in Job. So now let's drop that. Let's drop that. Let's drop that. So now let's go back to Revelation chapter 9, verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 1.
Come on.
And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
So we identified the bottomless pit being Europe. Let's go back to Job, though. Let's get Job 30. Let's read 7 and 8.
Yes, sir. Job chapter 30, verse 7.
Come on.
Among the bushes they brayed. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools. Yea, children of base men.
Come on.
They were viler than the earth.
They were viler than the earth. Meaning what? They was at a lower state. They was driven up into the bottomless pit, the clefts, the caves. So you understand. So let's go back to Revelation.
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 9, verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit.
So he opened the bottomless pit for what? World War I. Come on.
And there arose a smoke out of the pit.
There rose a what?
A smoke out of the pit.
Let's get the pictures. Let's get the pictures. I sent the pictures over. Not that. The smoke. It should be some war pictures from World War I. We got sent them in order. Let's go. Stay with me. Y'all got to stay with me, fellas. Pay attention. Stay with me. We're dealing with the smoke. That's not the smoke. It should be pictures of some artillery going off. It's right in order. Oh, your phone ain't get it right. Oh, my God. You ain't got it? So hold up. Let me send it over. Man, your phone got the devil on it. I want the reason why this is important because the people must see that what's being brought out is the correct understanding. So hold on real quick. Let's get this up in here. We're going to show y'all the smoke out of the bottomless pit so y'all can see this thing. Let's pull them up now. So read Revelation 9 and 2.
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 9, verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit.
And
there arose a smoke out of the pit.
So this is going into war. This is going into war. What was taking place during that time? World War I. Cities was being destroyed. There was smoke that was filling the air. We got them? Or we got to upload them? You got them? So pull it up. So look at that. World War I. Cities decimated. Let's get the smoke. Look at that. That's from artillery hitting. There should be some more. Look at that. That's a blast is going off. So read Revelation 9:2 again.
And he opened the bottomless pit.
Uh-huh.
And there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace.
So as the smoke of a great furnace. Come on.
And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
So the pit is talking about Europe. So the skies was being blocked out because of the sun. Because of the dust coming up. And when we understand what this is talking about, we're going to go back. Go to Genesis 19:28 to show that this smoke is talking about destruction, is talking about war. We identified the bottomless pit as Europe. We read that in Job. We went to Malachi, and we went to Obadiah to show that them driven up into the clefts of the caves is talking about the bottomless pit. Eastern Europe, all of Europe, that part. That's what it's going into. Read that.
Genesis chapter 19, verse 28.
Uh-huh.
And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace.
So when John is looking at this, so let's put the pictures back up there and go to Revelation 9:2 again. So when John is looking at this, he's trying to describe what is going on. He's like, man, this smoke looked like it's coming out of a furnace, because we got to understand, there wasn't no bombs and stuff at that time on that level. The bombs are hitting, making smoke, burning down cities. He like, yo, this stuff is on fire. And you imagine, he looking at the city from a top view, all the city, pull up that devastated city. That stuff was burnt, all that's burnt and was on fire. So it's going to look as if you looking at a furnace, if you looking from like a 30,000 foot view, if you will. All that was on fire at one point in time. So you got to imagine John writing it down like, damn, this thing looked like a furnace. The houses looked like the kindling in the coals in the furnace burning. That's what was going on. So he's describing it the best way he can. Let's keep reading.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
Come on.
And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
So this locust, don't pull the pictures up yet, but this locust, it said, there came out of the smoke locusts. This is talking about planes, the planes during World War I. And we're going to finish reading that.
And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
So now, let's go to Exodus 12. Let's go to Exodus 12. It says, unto them was given powers as the scorpions of the earth. So the reason why we're going back to Exodus 10, 12 through 15 to show when the locusts popped up during the plagues, did they have the power of a scorpion? Let's read that real quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 15.
No, Exodus 10 and 12. Verse 10 and 12.
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 10, verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt.
Come on.
For the locust.
For the what?
For the locust.
So the subject matter is the locust. We're identifying the locust because John made reference to a locust. So we're going to show that this locust isn't indeed talking about the locust that Moses smote the land of Egypt with. Watch this.
That they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land.
And do what?
And eat every herb of the land.
It ain't say nothing about scorpions. Come on.
Even all the hell that hath left. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt. And the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locust.
Come on.
And the locust went up over the land of Egypt and rested in all the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them, there was no such locust as they.
Come on.
Neither after them shall be such.
Watch this.
For they covered the face of the whole earth.
So these locusts covered the face of the whole earth. Come on.
So that the land was darkened. And they did eat every herb of the land.
They did what?
They did eat every herb of the land.
So they ate all the herbs of the land. Come on.
And all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees.
Come on.
Or in the herbs of the field through all the land of Egypt.
So what we read in that time, the locusts, and the Lord is going to make a distinct reference about the locusts back in Revelation 9. Keep in your mind that the locusts in Exodus chapter 10, they ate the trees and the greens of the land. So now let's go back to Revelation 9.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 3.
Come on.
And there came out of the smoke locust upon the earth. And unto them was given power.
Come on.
As the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth.
Hold on. It was given to them locusts not to do what?
That they should not hurt the grass of the earth.
But we read about the locusts in Exodus. They hurt the grass of the earth during that time. So what locusts is this talking about? Pull up the picture for me with the locusts in the plane. So now, as we see the locusts with the 4 wings, we see this plane with the 4 wings as well, also with the tail or the rear gunner. What's at the rear of a scorpion? A tail. What does the tail do when it stings you? Put you to death. So read 3 and 4 together for me.
And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
What's the power of the scorpion on the earth? To sting with his claw, to put anything to death. Come on.
And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth.
So the locusts that John is seeing in Revelation 3, their job wasn't to hurt the grass of the earth like we read the locusts during the time of Moses that hurt the grass of the earth during the plagues of Egypt. Come on.
Neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
So now these locusts have the power to kill the men that don't have the seal of God in their foreheads. This is going back to what we read about the nation of people that will be in the land of the bottomless pit. They don't have the seal of God. Is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, what I want you to do, no, keep reading.
Verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months.
Hold on. Matter of fact, no, read verse 4 again. Excuse me, I jumped the gun.
Verse 4. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth.
Because they're not real locusts. Those are not real locusts. Those are planes that John is describing, using the similitude of a locust to describe what they're like. Come on.
Neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
So the men, we read about the locusts. Who were the men that were in those locusts? Pull up that next one, that image. It should be an AI. I want to find out who the locust is. It's talking about the nation of people. We're going to go to AI and we're going to say, who were the World War I participants? So we're going to read this.
In World War I, the 2 main sides were the Central Powers, including Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire.
So you got these are the locusts, or the men that was piloting the locusts, but these are the locust nations, the men that don't have the seal of God. You got Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire versus, read, hold on, take me off the screen so he can read it.
And the Allied powers, including France, Great Britain, Russia, Italy, Japan, and later the United States.
So these are the men that don't have the seal of God. Let's get the seal of God. Give me Revelation 7 and 4. Who's going to be sealed? Because the Lord is making a distinct reference. He already set the land region. He already set the people that was in the land and likened them to locusts or the machines that they were piloting. Then we reading through that, okay, the participants in World War I were Edomite nations with Ammon mixed in there, a little bit of Ammon, but they don't have the seal of God. So let's see who's going to be sealed.
The book of Revelations, chapter 7, verse 4.
Come on.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Hold on, they were sealed who?
144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
So only the children of Israel get the seal. Somebody might ask, what is the seal? That's a great question, brother. Give me that in Isaiah chapter 8. Remember what the job of the prophets is, to give sense so you all can understand the reading.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 16.
Come on.
Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples.
So the law is the seal. What is John describing? These men, they didn't receive the law. They can't be sealed because the law wasn't given to them when you read Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Paul is going to say the same thing in Hebrews, because somebody might jump out there and say, well, that's the Old Testament. Okay, let's go to Hebrews chapter 8.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 8.
10.
Verse 10.
No, you're right. You in the spirit. Yep.
Hebrews chapter 8, verse 8.
Come on.
For finding fault with them,
Uh-huh.
he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord,
Uh-huh.
when I will make a new covenant
Let's see who this new covenant with. Is it with all nations?
with the house of Israel.
With the who?
With the house of Israel
Uh-huh.
and with the house of Judah.
Crystal clear. The new covenant is still with the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, or the men that received the seal or the law. Come on.
Verse 9.
Yeah, absolutely. Down to 10, brother.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. What was the covenant talking about? Animal sacrifice. Who was that for? The children of Israel. That's why Moses sprinkled the blood all over the place. That's why when Christ was put to death, we said, let his blood be upon us. What did, what's the name? What was his name? Agrippa, what was it? Herod? He washed his hands and said, no, it was Pilate. Washed his hands and said, no, I don't have no part in this blood because he's not to receive the seal of God. Come on.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
Come on.
Because they continue not in my covenant.
So we know we continue not in the covenant. We know that's talking about the law. Come on.
And I regarded them not, saith the Lord.
Uh-huh.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
So this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, or the seal. Come on.
After those days,
Uh-huh.
saith the Lord, I will put my laws into their minds.
I will seal my law into their minds. Because remember, we read that the law is the seal in Isaiah 8:16. Come on.
And write them in their hearts.
Uh-huh.
And I will be to them a God.
Uh-huh.
And they shall be to me a people.
So that's the men that don't have the seal is talking about the other nations. This is how we know that what we read in Nehemiah 8:8, the prophets giving the sense, because the men that don't have the seal, they not teaching like this. They can't teach like this because the spirit wasn't given unto them. Understand that thing. So now let's go back. Let's go back to matter of fact, what I want to pick up, I want to cover this. Get the Balfour Declaration real quick. This is very important. This is very, very important because we got to understand what was setting up the events before then. Read that real quick.
The Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War.
Come on.
Announcing its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine.
These are the Khazars, the converts. Come on.
In Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. The declaration was contained in a letter dated November 2nd, 1917, from the United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild.
So we're going to see what Rothschild mean. We about to go a little bit deep into this. Come on.
A leader of the British Jewish community.
The leader of a what?
Of a British Jewish community.
So this man is a convert, the Rothschilds, which literally means red shield. Pull up the image because somebody might think I'm making this up. So we just Google. Let's see what Google AI got to say what Rothschild means.
Rothschild. The name Rothschild comes from the German phrase zum Rothenschild, which translates to the red shield.
To the what?
To the red shield.
Watch this.
This is a reference to the house where the family lived in Frankfurt's Jewish ghetto in the 16th century.
I mean, this is going on what? After they done threw us out of our lands. So now they calling themselves the Jewish people.
At the time, houses were identified by signs with different symbols or colors rather than numbers.
Right. So now we see, now pull up the role that the Rothschilds play in World War I. Well, look at the wickedness. And they still do this today. Understand what you're going to see what the Rothschilds did. They still do this today. Watch this. Pull that up. I think I sent that over. I want y'all to understand, these are the same people. The Lord used these people to set these events in motion that are literally playing out today when you turn on CNN and seeing these Israelis, these Khazars bombing Palestine, bombing southern Lebanon. It all goes back. It's all tied together, folks. Read that.
During World War I, the Rothschild family, known for their extensive financial network across Europe, primarily played a role in financing various nations involved in the conflict.
Watch this.
Providing loans to governments on both sides of the war.
Hold on, doing what?
Providing loans to governments on both sides of the war.
These devils was funding both sides of the war. Because no matter what, they always going to get their outcome. They always going to get their outcome. So now the Balfour Declaration was a plan to give homeland to European convert Jews. And what we're going to find out is I want you to pull that next one up. I'm going to show you how they got down during this whole process. They set this all up.
During World War
Hold on. I want you to read that right there, that search. This is all Google.
Arabs helped defeat Ottoman Empire were double-crossed.
So I just typed that into Google because a lot of our people don't know about this stuff. They don't know that the Arabs that came in there, they fought against their own because the Ottoman Empire was a Muslim or Islamic-based empire. So they got the Arabs to join together to fight with them because the whole point was to promise the Arabs land in Palestine. So watch this. Watch this.
During World War I, the Arabs, led by Sharif Hussein of Mecca, played a key role in helping to defeat the Ottoman Empire by launching the Arab Revolt, but were subsequently double-crossed by the British and French.
Hold on, were what?
Subsequently double-crossed.
Subsequently
Double-crossed by the British and French.
Watch this.
Who, through the secret Sykes-Picot Agreement, divided the Arab territories amongst themselves instead of granting the Arabs the independence they were promised in exchange for their rebellion
For their what?
For their rebellion against the Ottomans.
Meaning their brothers. They rebelled against their brother. They teamed up with the white man and rebelled against their brothers and got double-crossed, man. Read.
This betrayal is considered a significant factor in shaping the political landscape of the Middle East today.
Damn. So that even Google AI know what these bastards did back then. Set the stage for the events today. This is all setting the stage for World War III. The Lord is mustering the host, man. Let's get that agreement real quick, though. Go back to Wikipedia. I want you to get that Sykes-Picot Agreement. So this thing was already set up when they wrote the letter to Rothschild. Understand this thing. This thing was already set up.
The Sykes-Picot Agreement. The Sykes-Picot Agreement was a 1916...
Was a what?
A 1916...
The Balfour Declaration letter went out in 1917. The British already had it set up. They already had it in place. Come on.
The Sykes-Picot Agreement was a 1916 secret treaty between the United Kingdom and France, with assent from the Russian Empire and the Kingdom of Italy to define their mutually agreed spheres of influence and control in an eventual partition of the Ottoman Empire.
They had to get them out of the way. They said, we got to get these Muslims out of the way, man. Scroll on down.
The agreement was based on the premise that the Triple Entente would achieve success in defeating the Ottoman Empire during World War I and formed part of a series of secret agreements contemplating its partition. The primary negotiations leading to the agreement took place between November 23rd, 1915.
So the agreement was finally drafted in 1916, but they was meeting back in 1915 to set this thing up. Say, all right, now we got to devise a plot to build allies to get the Ottomans out the way. All this was done to set up the state of Israel. That's why after the agreement was sealed, they came with the Balfour Declaration. Hey, Mr. Rothschild, we got this, and this. We're going to give y'all land. How are we going to do it? We're going to team up and destroy the Ottoman Empire, then double-cross the Arabs that's going to partner with us to overthrow their brothers. Straight out of a damn comic book movie or something. Yes, the devil. Read that. Keep going.
The primary negotiations leading to the agreement took place between November 23rd, 1915 and January 3rd, 1916, on which date the British and French diplomats Mark Sykes and Francois Georges Picot initialed an agreed memorandum. The agreement was ratified by their respective governments on the 9th and 16th of May, 1916.
So what we see, this thing was already set up. This led directly to what we seen after World War II when they established Israel in 1948. All this stuff go together, man. Give me Psalm 64. I'm talking about the Bible. We just taking a little a detour so you all understand what's going on here, because there's a lot going on in Revelation. If you don't know the backstory and events that led up to this World War I, you're not going to know the players, why these things went down. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 2.
Come on.
Hide me
No,
from
64 and 5.
verse
That's it.
5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter.
What's the evil matter? To come up with the Sykes-Picot agreement, the fake alliance with the Arabs to double cross their brothers, then stab them in the back and divide that land up between France and Britain and all that, setting up that Israeli state over there. That's the evil matter. Come on.
They commune of laying snares privily.
They laid a snare for the Arabs. They didn't know nothing about that agreement. Come on.
They say, who shall see them?
They like, man, who gonna find this out? This thing happened all the way back in 1915. They didn't know that the prophets of the Most High would search that thing out through the Spirit of the Lord. Come on.
They search out iniquities.
So they search out evil. You got to have a demon on you to even come up with something like that. Watch this.
They accomplish a diligent search.
So the scriptures say they accomplish a diligent search. We see the results today with their technology and plots they put in 100 years ago are coming to fruition today. Come on.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
So now give me that Wikipedia Israeli Declaration of Independence. It says their heart is deep. They thought this up back in the early 1900s to set up the land grab in 1948. There's some heavy stuff here. Pull that up real quick. And all this is just to fulfill the prophecy what we're going to get here in Daniel. Watch this.
Israeli Declaration of Independence. The Israeli Declaration of Independence, formerly the Declaration of the Establishment of the State of Israel, was proclaimed on May 14th, 1948.
Damn.
By David Ben-Gurion,
Damn.
the executive head of the World Zionist Organization.
Now, drop that. Give me Daniel 11 and 14. This all established the vision that they are the real Jews. That's all. They set all that up, the land grab. They set up the double. They set up the double plot twist to set the land grab up to proclaim themselves as the Jews. Watch this.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 14. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south.
That's Ptolemy. Come on.
Also, the robbers of thy people.
The robbers of thy people is talking about the synagogue of Satan that you read about in Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. Come on.
Also, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish division.
So they got the Sykes-Picot agreement. They got the Balfour Declaration. They got the Israeli Defense Independence Declaration to establish division. What's going to happen with their vision?
But they shall fall.
Why? We see that going on now because that's biblical prophecy. You got Candace Owens out there flaming them up right now. You got the prophets out there been roasting for years, putting that thing out there on the earth. So the vision is going to fail. Give me Ezekiel 36 and 5.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen.
The heathen is those same men that can't receive the seal. These are the men that we read about in Revelations 9 and 4. They can't receive the seal. Come on.
And against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their hearts.
Come on.
With the spiteful mind, to cast it out for a prey.
Meaning what? They invited all their other Khazars to come into the land. They cast it out for a prey. Why you think they symbol is the eagle, man? The bird of prey. Now, give me Judges 3 and 13 real quick. Because they wanted the land from the beginning. They wanted the land from the beginning. Let's fly through this.
The book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 13.
So we want to show you the spirit. Because remember, we read Japan was involved in that war too. Well, we showed you on that. But watch this.
And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon.
Hold on, the children of who?
Of Ammon.
That's the Japanese man.
And Amalek.
Amalek is the so-called Jewish man that set the Balfour Declaration. Watch this.
And went and smote Israel. And possessed the city of palm trees.
So they worked with the Japanese man to set themselves up in the city of palm trees. That's Jericho. Give me that to prove it. Deuteronomy 34 and 3. So, but you see, was not Ammon one of the players in World War I that was aligned with the British and the fake Jews? Yes. It's the same thing we read back in Judges just now. Read that real quick to show what Jericho is. It means a place of fragrance.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34, verse 3.
Somebody might, how you know the city of palms is talking about Israel? Read that.
In the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho.
The plain of the valley of who?
Of the valley of Jericho.
Come on.
The city of palm trees.
What?
The city of palm trees. Unto Zoar.
That crystal clear. Because there's always somebody out there gainsaying. So now, give me Luke 1 and 5. Because they were around during the time of Christ. They set themselves up as the Herods and stuff during the time of Christ. Give me Luke 1 and 5.
The book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 5.
This is them establishing the vision. All this is based off the Sykes-Picot Agreement, the Balfour Declaration, the Israeli Defense Declaration, whatever they call it. Yeah, Independence Agreement. Come on.
Luke chapter 1, verse 5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abiah. And his wife was
said there was in the days of Herod. Herod is pull that up real quick. Pull that up. Read that.
Herod, Idumean rulers of Palestine.
That's talking about Israel. They try to throw you over Palestine. Get what Idumean is so people don't get dumb. Read Idumean.
Idumea, pertaining to Edom. Greek and Roman name for Edom.
White folk. So don't get it twisted. We talking about white folk in the land and how they set it up from back then all the way up to World War I. So now let's go back. Let's go back to Revelations 9. So now we see how the events of World War I set up the following events of World War II, even up until this present day. Let's get Revelations 9 and 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 5.
Watch this.
And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months.
The 5 months is going into, this was a 5-year war from 1914 till about 1918, 1919. This is a 5-year war that was going on. Come on.
And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man.
Meaning what? Men was getting shot with all manners of bullets and bombs and so forth. And it says when he striketh a man, because also this is making reference to the rear gunner in the plane that we saw. Put that picture back up there. No, not that one. I don't want that one yet. I want the one with there you go. So John likened this thing, the scorpion with the tail of a locust with the tail of a scorpion. Keep reading though.
And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die.
Meaning what? This is going into the wounded and maimed in the war. There was 21 to 23 million soldiers wounded in World War I. Come on.
And death shall flee from them.
Meaning what? They couldn't die. You had people that had the what did they call it? Shell shock. If y'all ever look up, we don't have time. The videos, they would just be sitting there shaking because they was in those trenches and the bombs was going off. So after the war, they just sitting there shaking. Just look up shell shock World War I veterans or whatever. You'll see all types of crazy footage. They was looking for death but couldn't find it. These men was wounded, PTSD, shell shock. That's what that's talking about. Come on.
And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle.
So it says the shape of the locust was like unto horses prepared for battle. Now put the picture up there with the horse. Because what does a battle or a war horse have? He has on armor. John is saying these locusts is made out of metal. Going into the planes, he didn't have airplanes and all that back then. They wasn't flying Spirit Airlines, so you understand. You know, black folk be flying on Spirit. You understand? He just making a reference like, damn, these things are made out of the same material that they put on the battle horses. Come on.
And on their heads were as it were crowns like gold.
So it says on their heads as it was crowns of gold. Pull up the pictures of the men that was in the plane that should have helmets. Look at the helmets of the soldiers during the war. So these men that was sitting in the locust had helmets on that was made out of gold. These are real helmets from the World War I. So John just trying to describe, what the hell am I looking at? So they got golden helmets on. Read.
And their faces were as the faces of men.
So that's the point. He said their faces are the faces of men. They had the goggles on, golden helmets, and they sitting inside these metal locusts. John trying to figure out to describe, what am I seeing here? So it's using a similitude to break things down like, okay, this is similar to this, that, this. Come on.
And they had hair as the hair of women.
So they had hair as the hair of women. What is this talking about? This is going into the scarves that they wore when they was flying in the airplane. Let's pull up them images of the scarves on the pilots. Let's go back to that image real quick. So as you see the pilots, they got scarves on in that picture, the one up top and the one at the bottom. The reason why they wore scarves because they ain't had no cockpit. It was you go up high in the air, it's cold as hell. And look at the damn flag on the thing. Look at the flag on the, or not the flag, what you call that? The paint, the symbol on the damn plane. Zionists, man. The star Moloch. And brothers is rocking that thing today, thinking that's got something to do with the Lord. Nah, brother. No, sir. But keep reading now.
And they had hair as the hair of women. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions.
So their teeth were as the teeth of lions. What is this making reference to? Pull up the picture real quick. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to close out on this. I'm going to close out on this for time's sake. We got, events coming up. So it says their teeth are the teeth of lions. What you're seeing here, these are paint jobs. This is the shark mouth paint job they put on planes. Pull up the article real quick. I want you to pull up the article real quick. So let's get a little bit of history on this so we understand that what John is seeing, he ain't, he can't really describe. So now read that real quick.
The origins of shark mouth nose art.
Scroll on down. Keep going. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. 'Cause that thing, keep going down. Because I want to get to the point. So go right there.
All right. Below, we will dive deeper into the origins of shark mouth nose art.
So now we're talking about World War I. So before you do that, read Revelations 9 and 8 again. So we don't forget the thought.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 8.
Come on.
And they had hair as the hair of women.
So this going into the scarves they wore, the pilots.
And their teeth were as the teeth of lions.
So I said, man, their teeth is as the teeth of lions. This is what he's looking at when he's looking at the plane. So now read that.
In the September 2019 issue of Warbirds, volume 42, number 6, Doug Revell gave a very concise and thorough answer to the trivia question. Identify the origin of the famous shark mouth nose art used by the American Volunteer Group of the Chinese Air Force in 1941 to 42.
Watch this.
He began by writing, the first noted mouth was on a World War I German Roland.
Was on a what?
On a World War I German Roland.
Was on a World War I German aircraft, man.
With a little research, we were able to find a number of photographs with the reconnaissance aircraft commonly referred to as the whalefish or whale. With this monocoque fuselage, an opportunity to add the artwork of open-mouthed, sharp-toothed, and beady-eyed face was a stylistic addition that fit the aircraft well.
So now, let's pull up them images real quick. So this is what John is seeing. Let's get the images of the 4 aircraft to describe what John is seeing. So now, read that again. Revelations 9 and 8.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 8.
Come on.
And they had hair as the hair of women.
So you see the pilots in there, the ones on the bottom left, the one on the bottom left, they got a scarf on. Go back to the previous picture with the scarf. You see the one on the bottom right, he got a scarf on. As the hair of women, now keep reading.
And their teeth were as the teeth of lions.
So now let's examine these planes. Their teeth was as the teeth of lions. So understand, what is John describing? The weapons, the machines of World War I. He's likening them to lions with a locust, with a lion's mouth with a scorpion tail. Put the images back up there so the people can see. You can see the red gun on those things. So this is the understanding of what we're reading here in Revelations 9. This is talking about World War I. But family, I can't finish the lesson today. We appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in. Lord's will you gleaned a little something. Remember what we read from the beginning of the chapter. We were talking about the angel, that star that fell from heaven, had the keys to the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is Europe. It went over the people. We went over the people that lived in that land, talking about the Edomites. Pull the image back up of the ones that was fighting in the war for me under AI. I think it might be the 4th or 5th image I sent. So let's read that again. So these are the people that was in the land in the bottomless pit.
In World War I, the two main sides were the Central Powers, including Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire, and the Allied powers, including France, Great Britain, Russia, Italy, Japan, and later the United States.
So these are all the Edomite nations, those that cannot receive the seal of God. That's why it was given to them to hurt, meaning what? To wound and kill in that war. So family, we appreciate you brothers and sisters tuned in. With that, we say shalom, Most High in Christ bless.